Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Hallmark podcast. And we are really excited today. We have one of the stars of the new movie, Unthinkably Good Things, coming to Hallmark Channel. We have Joyful Drake with us. And Joyful, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah. So what we like to do is like to ask our guests to tell us a little bit about what inspired you to get into acting.
So long ago. Let me think about that. I probably just dated myself. I've always been my name, joyful and full of energy. And I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Go Packers, go Milwaukee Bucks. I'm a huge sports fan. And as a kid, I was involved in everything, theater, drama, swing choir, volleyball, basketball, cheerleading. So I've always been interested in trying new things. And acting was one of the things that always just inspired me. Like I'd watch movies and television shows, and I was fascinated with what I saw. And it was something I always knew I wanted to do, but I didn't quite know how a girl from Milwaukee, Wisconsin could break into, Hollywood. So it was always like in my spirit. So I'm so thankful and blessed that I'm able to do what I really love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So do you remember the first part you ever got?
The first part I ever got in acting, or like as a kid in plays and things like that.
Yeah, well, you can talk about either, but in your first role in film.
Oh, definitely. I remember it because I was in New York City at the time, and I had auditioned for this television series called Soul Food that was on Showtime. And they loved me and booked me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have a job. I was so used to, studying and auditioning that when the work actually came to me, I was kind of scared and I didn't know what to do. And then they send this limo. That's when they use limos. We don't do that now. We just have cars, right? But they sent this limo to pick me up and take me to the airport because it's shot in Toronto. And I literally got on stage. It was Felicia Henderson's show. And some of the actors on the show were Vanessa Williams, Boris Kojo, Nicole, Ari Parker at the time, Melinda Williams. And I literally froze. I was like, I don't know what to do. And Felicia walked over to me and she said, listen, I saw your tape. You're here because you're good. Have fun. And I said, okay. And literally we did every scene in 2 takes. They were calling me one take Drake. And it was one of those things where it was be careful what you ask for. You just might get it.
That's great. I bet that makes you a lot more sort of sympathetic to new talent that you see struggling.
Yeah, because it can be really intimidating, especially now. For me, when I would audition, back in the day, I would go into a room and it'd be, 20 people sometimes, and that was intimidating. So now, with the pandemic and everything is self-tape. So you have to do it in your house. And then, if you book the job, you go on set and it's like a whole nother beast. Especially if it's a big scene with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do. I'm very gentle with, new actors. I'm so excited for their journey. But, you have to be careful what you say because you can really mold them, in a way that might scar them. So,
Mm-hmm.
you have to encourage them and let them know, hey, you got this. You're here for a reason.
Mm-hmm. You have the Dream Big Foundation that you started. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was a foundation that was near and dear to my heart. As an actor, I think one of the best things about my gig is that I get to meet so many wonderful people and I get to work all over the country and world. It was a show I was working on in Atlanta at the time, and we had a huge following in Atlanta. And I love kids. I have nieces and nephews that literally spent summers with me. I feel like I'm their second mom. So I really know how you can shape and mold the mind of a curious kid. So I wanted to do something that represented that spirit because that's what my dad did for us. Like coming from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, when I grew up, it was one of the most segregated states in the country. So he made sure he took us to other parts of the country so we could see people who looked like us doing things that, we didn't know we could do. So my Dream Big Foundation was working with high school students. And every day we get glammed up at work. I have magnificent makeup artists and hair people and wardrobe people. And I just wanted to do something fun for the less fortunate people. So we just gave free prom makeovers to a group of students and made them feel special for a day. And it was so fun and so rewarding. I didn't even, know that it would make the impact or the difference that it did. It was something that, I probably enjoyed doing more than they received because I felt like I was using my platform to, make a difference.
That's great. That sounds fun. That's a great idea. Yeah.
But they had to earn it though. They had to write essays about, like it wasn't just, hey, we're going to pick anyone. Like we had a pool of students write essays about their futures and their dreams and how they were going to accomplish it. And I think the hardest part was actually choosing a handful of essays because everyone's was so great.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
I'm Hannah.
And I'm Katie. And we have a podcast called
One Kiss Means Forever. Do you love made-for-TV rom-coms?
Are you obsessed with Hallmark and all the Hallmark-inspired copycats that have come out on other platforms like Netflix?
And while being obsessed, do you know that these are not what one might call quality films?
If so, come listen to our podcast. Each episode, we discuss one movie that did not have a theatrical release and always ends in a happily ever after.
And how do we know it will end in a happily ever after?
Because one kiss means forever, of course.
So join us as we deep dive into each movie for about 45 minutes.
Episodes drop every other Thursday, except during the very elongated Hallmark Christmas season when we join the Christmas craze and go weekly for about 2.5 months. Bye!
Bye.
Let's see. I know you say you're a big sports fan, like myself, a girl on the West Coast. So I'm a Raiders fan, Ace fan.
No, you guys took Devontae Adams from us, and I am not your friend right now.
No, it's not my fault. That was not my vote. That was not my vote.
Okay.
I want to hear your experience as a dancer because you were a dancer. I'm like, so you're like, I got some moves, but I can't be on that level though. But tell me about your experience.
Oh, wow. You're taking me back, Jasmine. You're taking me back. I used to dance for the Milwaukee Bucks. And when I danced, they never won anything. But that's okay. We had a lot of fun. It was truly awesome, an epic experience that just opened my eyes to so much, like every day performing, being on that floor in front of thousands of people, the places, that team, we were called the Energy Dance Team, the places that they took us. One of the places was to New York for the All-Star game. And that was my first time being in New York City. I might have been like 19 years old, 20, almost 20. And just seeing the melting pot of people who looked like me, I was like, oh my gosh. And I told my dad, I was like, I'm moving to New York. He was like, no, you're not. I was like, yes, I am. Watch me. And, so it was like one of those things that just opened different doors for me to, walk and pave my journey. But dancing was awesome. I will say you have no idea how hard those girls work. Like, I'm talking about leaving practice exhausted, your muscles hurt, you're sweating, and you do that 2-3 times a week, practice, plus you have 2-3 games a week. I mean, and a lot of the women, I was in college at the time, but a lot of the women have full-time jobs, like they're nurses or they're teachers, and they just love to dance. So that's kind of like a hobby, their second gig. It's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I didn't know that they had other jobs. That's interesting.
Yeah, they do. I see them like on other teams, like some are nurses, some are grad students. I'm like, Y'all doing the damn thing.
Wow.
Doing
That's
it, like
amazing.
doing it. They're super smart. You know, unfortunately, sometimes cheerleaders get a bad rep, right? For like just being beauty and no brains. But these girls were beautiful, but super brainy, like super smart. I think they even had some young moms on there.
Yeah.
So it was like a sisterhood. It was really awesome.
So how did you make the transition from being dancer to like getting an agent and getting regular work and becoming a working actor? Like how were you able to do that?
Well, it's a lot different now than it was back then. All you need now is an Instagram account. For me, I ended up quitting the dance squad. Like, I know I had to get out of Wisconsin, and I was trying to figure out how I was going to get to New York, because my mom was like, you're not, no, New York, I can't take it. So I ended up getting an internship my senior year of college that was accredited. So I worked at Sony Music with the Destiny's Child and all those cool people.
Wow.
Yeah, Yvette Noel Shore was my PR boss, still with Beyonce today. So I did all of that. And I think we had like Nas and Maxwell's with Columbia Records. But I was an intern student getting college credit. So that's how I left. I ended up quitting the dance squad, and everyone was so upset. They're like, you're leaving. I was like, I've got to go. I got to go. So I made my way to the Big Apple, and I loved it so much that I didn't even want to come back and walk across the stage when it was time for me to graduate. And my dad was like, oh no, you're walking across that stage. Like, no, you are doing it. I did that. And then I was working. I had a corporate gig, and I felt so proud of myself. I'm making a little money. I had my little apartment in New York City. And I was bored. I was like, this isn't what I want to do. Like, I went to school, I got this degree. Like, there's more, there has to be more. So I started auditioning for little theatrical groups. And I was accepted into the Ujamaa Black Theater group. And we did a performance, and it was like in some little sweat box, probably smaller than my living room. And I loved it. Like, I felt this energy and these people in the city of, New York City. And then I said, that's it. I'm pursuing acting full time. Believe it or not, I got my agent off of a mailing.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
A mass mailing. I sent my headshot. I put my headshots. I got a photographer, and I sent my headshots out, and they called me in, and I did a meeting, and he was like, okay, cool. And I was like, really? Because they say you'll never get an agent off of a mailing. I got mine off of a mailing. And when I moved to California years later, he called an agent and referred me out here. So I kind of got in the system, if that makes sense. Nowadays, when people ask me that, I don't know what to tell them. Like, I don't know, how do you get an agent today?
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
They don't do mailings anymore. So
yeah.
I don't know.
So we have the new movie Unthinkably Good Things coming out. It's the first Mahogany movie. It's so exciting. And so how did you end up getting that role? Did they come to you, or did you audition for that one?
They came to me. I will say one of the best things about this business is the friends you make along the journey. And so many people may be at one studio, and then they'll go to another studio, and then they may start their own company. But I pride myself on, making true connections with people. And Tony Judkins, who is the head of Mahogany over at Hallmark, I had met her literally at my best friend, my daughter's godmother, her Memorial Day barbecue a year ago, because I also write. So I had sold a script to Mar Vista Films, and she was starting, Mahogany, and she was looking for writers and looking for scripts. So they introduced me to her, and she was like, wait a minute, I recognize you. You were in that show that I loved, and this and that. She said, you'd be great as an actor in this movie that I'm doing. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And maybe in March, she called and said, we've been greenlit. Remember that part I told you about? read the script, tell me if you love it, because I want you to play in it. And I was like, okay. And so I think it was just that simple, but yet that took years of, pounding the pavement to meet the right people to put us in those positions. So that's how I got the role. When I found out that it's shot in Italy, I was like super duper excited. But it was like one of those things that I say was meant to be, because the stars aligned, like everything aligned. Like I loved the script. I loved the producers on it, Monique Nash and Corinne. They're amazing. I love Tony. And then when I found out that Wanya, the CEO of Hallmark, is my soror, I was like, oh, like this is meant to be, but everything just aligned. We didn't ask this yet, but it was truly a labor of love. Like all these beautiful Black women making magic, getting along, like it was so amazing. Like seriously, because I've been on the flip side where it hasn't been, and to be a part of something that was so, Karen Pittman, my co-star, said it was so joyful, no pun intended, but to be a part of something that was so joyful, it really ignited my spirit and made me fall back in love with acting, because I was thinking of hanging up the towel.
Oh no. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that you were able to fall back in love. That's good. You were doing more writing. You were thinking of kind of going that way, or?
I am going that way. I'm kind of like, balancing both acts. I sold a project to Lifetime as well that I'm actually writing right now. So as a mom of a 3-year-old, it's like I can only do so much. And it was very hard for me to leave my child, who I had been quarantined with, to go to Italy. Like, because she didn't have a passport, she couldn't travel that fast. And then by the time we did get her a passport, they weren't able to make it. So for me, that mom guilt, I don't know if you guys are moms at all.
I have a cat. I knew
Okay, your cat mom.
I knew that guilt. I had to leave.
The guilt, right? Even staying out late, you're like, oh, I need to feed, right? You're
Yeah.
pulled. So I just thought, maybe it's time for me to, go in another direction. But God had another plan.
Also, speaking of this new series for Hallmark,
Yeah.
and I just want to know, like, how do you feel about the new series coming out of it and the diversity? Because I
Mhm.
know they slowly start making a habit now, and pushing forward more stories for people of color, especially for Black, Hispanic,
Mhm.
Asian descent. Like, how do you feel about this new path? I know other networks are slowly doing that as well, but how do you feel with Hallmark going this new direction, especially coming with this new rebirth?
Wow. I feel it was, I get choked up because, as a kid, I used to, buy and get mahogany cards, So the fact that now there's a mahogany division and I get to be, one of the actors to launch this franchise. And I will say Hallmark put their heart and their money into this film. And when you see it, you will be able to tell the way it was shot, the actors that, they were able to get, the entire Italian crew that we worked with, their cinematography is beautiful. So to me, it means everything as a Black woman, as a actor, as a writer, because when you get to tell your story as a Black woman, you get a level of authenticity with that story that you won't get anywhere else. So, the fact that now you're seeing more Black female directors, more Black female writers, Cass wrote this script, Terry J. Vaughn directed this script, and it was literally this labor of love. And I always like to say, like my director said, Terry J. Vaughn, like this film is important. And when you see these ladies, yes, we're Black women with rich stories and rich histories, but we're women, you know what I'm saying? And I think women of all ethnicities will be able to see themselves and relate to these characters. And I think as a Black woman, that's all you wanted. Like you just wanted to be portrayed in a way that was real and, relating to women that your mom, your sisters, your friends, we ain't all drugged out or we ain't all, living in the projects. Like there are levels to this. And
Yeah.
I was so excited to be a part of a story that's going to show those levels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we're so excited to see it. So the story is the three of you are girlfriends and going to Tuscany. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. At the story, I was like, take me out to study abroad all over again. Like, Tuscany, gorgeous.
Yes, we're friends. Our friend, we're long time friends. We went to college together, and our girl is over there teaching abroad, and we come out to visit her. And you know what happens when girlfriends get together? Things unravel, secrets are revealed. So nothing too heavy, but we just we find ourselves again in this new age that we are. We're not those same crazy college kids. But yeah, we're all over Italy, honey. I mean, we're eating, we're sipping wine, we're walking on cobblestone streets, we're shopping, we're doing everything. We're in cooking class.
Oh, nice. So had you been there before? Had been to Italy?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes. I went for my honeymoon and it was amazing, amazing. And so to be able to go back, and be like, oh yes, I've been here before. I felt, a little special.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I threw my coin in the Trevi Fountain. They say if you throw a coin in there, that means you'll always come back.
Yes. So do all three of you have romantic relationships, or is there like one big one, or is that too spoilery to tell?
I can't say it. I will say my journey is one of trying to decide or explore if that's an avenue I want to take again because of past issues. So it is a real journey for my character, and one that I think a lot of women will relate to.
Yeah. So did you feel chemistry right away with the other two women, with Karen and Erica?
Yes. Karen was telling me when her agent saw the movie, he was like, are you guys friends? Like in real life, are you guys friends? And she's like, well, now we are. Yeah. Because there was just this synergy. I think we all knew we were doing something special and everyone wanted to be there. And you're in Italy. Isn't it like the country of love and romance? Like, how could you not be happy and, form those type of connections and relationships? So we're definitely friends. And we're looking forward to the sequel.
Ooh, there's a sequel.
Ooh, we'll see. We'll see. There's talks about it.
Now, I just want to know, what do you want people to take away from this film besides, just everything from friendships to travel? Because I traveled before and I met people from all walks of life because they were expecting me who looked like me to be in Italy. Like, one of my friends I studied abroad, she's like, I was expecting Black people to be here. I'm like, no, everybody's around everywhere, from African descent, Hispanic descent, Asian descent. I'm like, what do you want people to take away from this film? And,
First of all, yes, Black people do travel to Italy. Okay, that's a good thing to take away from this film. But also that Black women are beautiful and complex and unique and delicate and fractured and real. And I want them to take away from this film that there's beauty in all of that. Like, no matter what you're going through, no matter how you feel, you can get through it if you have a real sisterhood and a real sense of connection with someone and a real foundation with someone who can pick you up when you're down, and you can, do that vice versa. So no matter what it looks like, everything is better when you've got sisters and good friends by your side, and you should take on the world, not just Italy. Go to Greece, go to South America,
Yeah.
do it. Like, why wait? Like, this film is about do it now. Why wait?
Well, I think that's something that the pandemic taught, hopefully all of us, is you never know. Take the opportunity when you have it. Don't wait.
Don't wait. And don't let someone tell you who you are or what you should be or what you should wear. Like, you show them who you are. You know what I'm saying? Feel it in yourself, like believe in yourself. And I think, when we're young, we're so fearless. Like, I look at my daughter, we took her to swim lessons today. She's 3, and this was her second lesson. And they're like, she's a level 2. Like, most kids start at level 1, but she's under the water. She's like, she's just fearless. And then as we get older, we kind of put up these roadblocks ourselves because people tell us we shouldn't do that, or you should look this way, or you shouldn't wear that. And I say, do what you want to do. Be happy, because like you said, the pandemic taught us that life is short and you never know what could happen. And I think if you have real sisters and real friends, they'll encourage you to go down that path as well.
We'd like to take a second from this episode of the podcast to celebrate our sponsor of this episode, and that is the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast?
Do you want an inside scoop into what happens on the podcast?
Do you want early access to episodes and loads of cool perks?
Now is the time to become a patron of Hallmarkies Podcast.
By becoming a patron, you get to access our patron Facebook group.
You can request episodes or even be a guest on the podcast.
And most importantly, any patron can join our monthly movie watch-alongs with stars like Paul Campbell, Natalie Hall, and more.
It's as low as $2 a month to join in and become a special part of the Hallmarkies family.
Please consider, and we will love you forever.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
Now, let's talk about this premiere happening in Hollywood. It's going on here, Facebook and Instagram. People are like, this is gorgeous. Where was our invite? I'm like, the vibe.
Oh my gosh, you guys should have been. It was so amazing. Like, literally, it was like it might have been like the best premiere that like I've been to. Like, they just decked it out. When you walked in there, you left California and you were in Italy.
The sequel. Hook us up. Let's do it.
I got you, girl. Okay, I got you. The sequel. I'll be like, no, they need to be there. It was so beautiful. They had violinists, they had the Italian food, they had the best wines. Like, it was just so delicate, the flowers, everything. Like, and they had to pivot and do it like in in a second, because everything changed with the pandemic and people were worried, and they kind of canceled the TCAs and did them virtual. But this was so special to them that they were like, you know what, we're going to do this party and we're going to do it safe, and we're going to COVID test everyone, and we're going to do it outside, and we're going to celebrate this because this moment is really big. It's a huge moment for the network, a huge moment.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you so much for taking time to talk with us. We're really excited about the movie. Congratulations and welcome to the Hallmark family.
Oh, can I just say hello to my Hallmark family who I love over there? Tony Judkins, Wanya, Allison, you know what, Lisa, you know what? They're so nice. Like, I've met so many people in different, arenas and networks. And I was talking to one of the executives over there. I said, you know what? This feels like a family. And she said, you know what? We are. That's how we like to operate. So I'm sure that means I'll be talking to you beautiful ladies again.
Would you have social media you'd like to share?
Yes, I am Joyful Drake on Twitter and Joyful Drake on Instagram. So follow you, girl.
We really appreciate it. Like I said, congrats on the movie. We're very excited to watch it. And
you guys haven't seen it?
No, we haven't seen it yet. No.
Okay, well, you have to let Pammy, my publicist, you have to let her know how
Okay.
you like it.
We
Okay.
will. We will.
Okay.
It's great
Thank
to
you
meet
so
you.
much. Nice to meet you too.
We'd like to thank Joyful for coming on the podcast. This was so much fun to get to talk with her, and let us know what you think about all the different things we talked about in the comment section or on Twitter. We'd love to hear from you. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. Also, Jazzman, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Shireen16.
Great. And make sure you're all following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod, Hallmarkies Podcast. I'll put a link to the playlist for all of our interviews on there. So make sure you check that out. And we're also going to be doing a full recap of just Unthinkably Good Things with an amazing all-star panel that you all are going to love. So that's very exciting coming up. But if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. We really appreciate that. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our patron group, which is so much fun, where we have watch-alongs and other activities, and we talk about movies. Please help us there. We so appreciate it. We also have the merch store, where we have all different kinds of Hallmark inspired merch. So take a look at that. And thanks again, everybody. And thanks to Joyful. And we'll talk to you later. Bye, everyone.